Let me adjust this on the right page. So welcome to SE Cyber Safe. Today's topic is going to be a very interesting topic. We'll be discussing a quite controversial topic, which I'll tell you how the topic came about. It's should everyone online be identifiable should everyone online be identifiable using a valid means of ID card? That is, when you want to register online, you need to actually have a valid ID card to show or to get registered in that particular social media platform. And so what we'll be discussing is it really necessary or is it not? So, but before we move into the major discussion, my name is Emmanuel Mgbemena. For those who don't know me, if this is your first time, my name is Emmanuel Mgbemena, the host here on SE Cyber Safe. And with me on the show is Eric. Eric, up to you. Introduce yourself to the guests or the people we have.
All right. Thank you, Emmanuel. My name's Eric Belardo, and I'm the host of Cyber Crimes on YouTube and a cybersecurity professional of 30 years in the industry, working in about 25 countries around the world, doing cybersecurity for governments, private industry, and personal companies. So thank you for having me on your show, and looking forward to a lively discussion.
Oh, thank you. You're very welcome. Thank you for joining me on this live stream, or joining us on this live stream. So what we do on this channel, for those who are new, we talk on online safety, digital safety, and then expose latest scams and tricks used by scammers in Nigeria here, because I'm based in Nigeria, and then all around the world. So any recent scams or anything that is going to jeopardize our online safety, we just go ahead and then publish it to the channel to create that sort of awareness to everyone who is watching. So without wasting more time, if you are here, please, if you are online, if you are watching us, please type live in the description box, type live in the chat box, sorry, and then also if you are watching this on replay, go ahead and type replay in the comment section so that we know when you watch this stream. So let's move straight into the topic for today. So first of all, let me just tell you how this came about, or how I decided to. Let me tell you how I decided to discuss this particular topic. I didn't just come up with it. Let me show you something interesting. Give me a minute. Sorry, hold on.
And this is the beauty of live streams. You know, we have to set up and do all these different things. So it's an interactive thing. So
yeah.
All right, over to you.
So thank you. So from what you can see basically on your screen, the football, this whole topic started with the football in the world of soccer. For those who watch soccer, where there have been a lot of online hate or racism in terms of in the soccer world. Let me just put it that way. And so the Football Association called on social media platforms. They wrote petitions actually to these social media platforms like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and then asked or said, is there any possible way that they could introduce identification in a bid to deter online hate, so that any comment made by any particular person will be notified that yes, this is really the person that posted this comment. Because what we see these days is that anyone could just open any social media account anytime and then go ahead to type whatever anybody wants to type. But now what the football body wants to do is that they want it to be that anybody that types something can easily be traced with the person's photo and with the person's details. So now we are going to be discussing basically what are the pros when it comes to this law coming into place, or what are the cons? Is it actually something that should be done, or should it be overlooked? So let's start with the pros. So we'll be weighing the pros. So we'll be weighing the pros. The first one we have is curbing racism. So what do you think about this, Eric? In a bid to curb racism, how do you think this will be very effective?
So there's various challenges here. So let me first address the first point that you said, curbing racism. So the identification of persons. So when we do any kind of investigation, when somebody's being cyberbullied, when somebody's being harassed or attacked online, it usually is a little bit harder to track and trace somebody to their identity, because the internet has this perceived anonymity, or people don't know who you are. So that's how some of these people, their psychology of these people, gets to the point where, I'm anonymous online. I don't have to show my face. I can create a fake account and I can say whatever I want to say. Some people are just trolling. Other people are, expressing their own feelings. But that's a major issue that this would help to prevent. The racism part comes in the respect that now, in the new tones of the world, people are saying what they were thinking before and it wasn't popular to do. So with having an ID to create, or an identification to create an account, it would allow companies, it would allow law enforcement, it would allow different types of organizations to be able to track and trace the person down to, say, you are banned from a Twitter, or you can have from Facebook or any of the social media platform. The challenge that we have right now is, if you take a person and you ban the person, you banned my Twitter, Belardo73. I can go back and say, I can create an Belardo74, and you can't do anything about it. So, yes, having an identity to that is a pro. Okay. Now the negatives of that, I'll let you continue, but yes, that's what I think would help and benefit to have that.
Yeah, thank you. You really covered that. So, because personally, I also feel if someone who has been following the football world or the soccer world will see that perhaps when players finish playing and then they don't play well, or something happens during the field of play or in the field of play, these people come out with lots of racism comments on social media and then keep on, should I say, insulting and then tarnishing the image of that particular player, and then even as long as going as far as insulting a particular race, that kind of thing. So with this being put in place, you should be able to, people would first of all be cautious of what they say. People wouldn't want to take the risk of getting fished out by the law enforcement and other bodies that will be put in charge of monitoring all those comments. So yeah, that is one. The second one is for curbing cyberbullying. So what do you think about this particular one, cyberbullying? We all know what cyberbullying is. So what do you think about the issue of curbing cyberbullying?
Well, again, with having some identity, a lot of folks are going to be less prevalent. So when, they say a lot that people, if you were face to face and if you had to see my face, a lot of these comments, these cyberbullying comments, would not occur, or would be hampered, would be lesser than that. So with the anonymity that the internet provides, people can say whatever they want and not feel any kind of repercussions back to them. And that's one of the things that the internet, brings up. They don't have any boundaries because they don't feel the repercussion. They don't see the injury or the hurt that they're giving be it a player, be it a person, be it, you know, somebody that says a comment online. I've had many cases where you have a public figure, you know, a model on Instagram, or just a normal person on Twitter that says, here, you know, makes a comment, and the next thing they do is they attack. And there's not that boundary setting that you would have if you were in person. So if you knew that, you know, your account could be traced back to you for saying those types of comments, then at that point in time, the comments would go back.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so just to add to what you said, in case of cyberbullying, most times you get to see, should I say, teenagers, and then lots of, should I say, young adults, though, getting bullied online, and some don't have who to tell. So you see most cases of people committing suicide because of cyberbullying, either what was said to them online or how they are being treated online. So most people carry it out from perhaps in schools and different other places. Most people carry the bullying, the physical bullying from the school, and then perhaps start stalking someone online, and then extending the cyberbullying to the online platform. So we see cases of depression, we see cases of suicide, rampant suicide because of cyberbullying. It has happened a lot, and we've seen the news about, or we've seen news relating to that. So hopefully with this put in place, it's still going to do the same thing. People would be cautious of what they say to other people or how they approach other people. But I really feel there are lots of cons to this particular one. But we'll discuss that when we are done trashing out the pros to this. So the third one is curbing scams and fraud. So what do you think about this particular one?
Well, again, you know, the same situation. If you had an account being created with an actual, call it legal identification, that would help curb, call it the bots and the fraudulent accounts that are out there. That, again, taking the first 2 points here, a lot of the cyberbullying, a lot of the racism, a lot of those types of scams and frauds occur based on the anonymity and to being able to create a different accounts. So if you had to create on a platform, say for instance on a Twitter account, or even a Gmail, or I was going to say Hotmail to say how old I am, but Gmail or Outlook or any of the free email platforms, if you had to create an account with a ID of some sort, then that would hamper the ability for scammers to create accounts to be able to create these scams, not just scams and frauds, but also phishing and other threats to both organizations and people.
Yeah, thank you. You really covered that one well. I don't think I have much to add there. But in terms of curbing frauds and scams, we know that most people just can go ahead and create any accounts that you want to, and then go ahead scamming people. They can go ahead to scam people. But with this put in place, hopefully that is going to reduce drastically, because then people, you have your ID is taken down. So the moment you are flagged for scamming an individual, or the moment you are flagged for fraud, you can be traced anywhere, even as far as they can transfer the case. If the fraud was committed in a certain country, if it can be flagged to your own to your local or to your country, to the law enforcement to handle the case of fraud and scams. I think that way it should be able to deal with that issue. So another one which is almost relating to the scams and fraud is identity theft, or you can call this impersonation. So this one basically is when people, you might notice that most of these celebrities are the ones that are always affected when it comes to this impersonation or identity theft. You might see a particular popular celebrity, and then you see lots and lots of accounts. Even on YouTube here, it happens a whole lot, where you see a popular YouTuber, and then you see lots of different fake accounts trying to scam people or trying to divert people from the platform to another platform where they can scam them or where they can mislead them to doing something where, and they might think is actually from the main person or from the main YouTuber. So this, hopefully with this put in place, you should be able to hub this. And then once people can't register, because example now, I could have should I say about five Facebook accounts. But with this put in place, I should be able to just register for one because I've already submitted a particular ID which has been taken into consideration or which has been taken into their system. So I can only create one account, except there's a need to create another account which can be linked to the first one which I originally created. So hopefully you wouldn't be able to create another person's account because you don't have the person's ID. So you wouldn't be able to create, or you wouldn't be able to impersonate another person except you have that person's ID card or details which will be requested. So hopefully that's
Well,
solve the issue.
well,
Yeah.
actually, let me add. So, if you can highlight Christine Gibson's message there, that would be a very interesting conversation here to add to this particular topic here. And Christine said, what if somebody steals your identity and creates an account and causes harm on social media? And that is a major, major point to discuss here, because if we're talking about using your identity or having a identity verification to create a social media, and you fall victim to a identity theft, then there is a possibility. There is a possibility that your ID or your identification can be used to create an account and then cause harm in your name. Okay, similar to what happens with your credit reports or your financial information. If somebody steals your identity and uses it to open a credit card, it's causing harm to you and the person. So here's my view on this. Okay, that is a negative or a con to using identity to verify and validate the person. Okay, that concept of just using identity to verify, or an identity card to verify an account online, can create problems, and it creates problems both ways. It can create problems for you as a person and for the company itself that allowed that to happen. You have different laws currently in the world, similar to the GDPR or the data privacy rules in Europe. You have the CCPA in the United States, and these privacy laws are being expanded, which help companies defend or give penalties to these companies. Now, that again, using the concept of identity theft to create an account to do damage on social media, that is a major issue that would have to be discussed if these identity rules on online accounts are created. It's a great point, Christine.
Yeah, thank you, Christian. And just to add, I feel perhaps what I feel to add is that in as much as you'll be required to submit an identity card, it might require, because I know for Facebook, sometimes when your account gets disabled, when you get logged out of your account for maybe flouting a particular community guideline, they require you to they activate your face cam, they tell you to put your face in front of the camera, and then they get your face, they get your ID, your face. So this way they will be able to track you because they already have your face. Now you are the person handling it. So they know who is handling it. They have your face, they have your picture, they have those snapshots in their database or in their database. So this is one thing that you should take note of. You should take note of. It's not just going to be the ID card. Yeah, that's going to be one way, but they might go as far as using the live way to verify that you are truly the person, or They can link your images, which they must have gotten from the snapshots. They can link it to your account to help solve issues as such. So let's just move straight to the cons. Let's move straight to the cons of this, because let's see which one outweighs the other. So looking at the cons, we have the first one, which is, don't you think with our data, with these organizations or these social media platforms, with our data, or having our data like our valid ID card, and then with our images and pictures and every other thing, don't you think they can, or they are most likely to sell this information or give this data, our images and everything, to third party sites or social media platforms?
Well, the first thing that I will say to this is, if any of our viewers think that that does not happen, then they're sadly mistaken. That is part of you need to read your terms and descriptions for every social media account that you do. There are ways and there are laws that are helping prevent, as I mentioned before, GDPR, CCPA, and some other privacy laws around the world that prevent the companies from doing so without your authorization. A lot of people don't read when they start an account and click on yes, 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 accept, accept, accept. You are giving them permission to do so by doing that. That's number one. Number two, a very big con of giving those companies so much information is, as you mentioned, it's not if those companies are going to get hacked, it's when they're going to get hacked. And I say that in almost every speaking engagement that I have. Even the most secure organizations, and I say this all the time, the most secure computer is a computer that's disconnected, turned off, and the plug being pulled. Yeah. So every computer, every system, every data processing system has a vulnerability. Okay. And the challenge for cybersecurity professionals is staying one step ahead of the hackers out there that are trying to find that open door or open window to that system. So going back to the topic here is, number one, a system is going to get breached. Your information is going to be out there. So being able to give too much information to a company that we do not know as customers, we do not know how secure their systems are, okay? Because there is no law that says, and this goes across the world, there is no one law that says your systems have to be certified to this level, okay? So I can go and create an account with, say, for instance, Clubhouse, which is a popular voice chat. But how secure is Clubhouse? Does anybody know how secure? Let's think about Twitter or Facebook. How secure are they? So number one is a con to doing the ID is that you risk further giving them more information. Okay, further giving them more information that can be inadvertently disclosed by a breach or a hack. And second, the third-party sales, or even not third parties, but there are some of these companies that actually have a company that is a data broker within them that is not necessarily a third party. Okay, so that information is being used for marketing purposes, for data analytics, and things of that nature. Let's just say YouTube right here. Okay, your analytics within the Google environment is very broad. So giving more information into that area, could lead to inadvertent disclosures. Not saying that YouTube or Google or anybody is lacking in security, but it takes, if you look at, Chrome gets updates every 2 days, 3 days. Why is that? Because there's always a better a bigger mousetrap that we need to find. Okay.
Yeah, so thank you. I just have one that question for you. Do you think there's a possibility of this information getting to getting to the dark web? For example, I know even right now you could see phishing links where you might assume it's a Facebook you might assume it's a Facebook platform, but it might actually be a phishing link where you're just inputting your details, your password, and everything, and then the person who created that phishing link gets those details. So if social media platform starts with something like you need to submit your your identification card, or you might need to take a snapshot, don't you think if someone is phished, and definitely they will require these details if it's something that is being put into play, when they are phishing, they will also require for these details. And then if your ID card gets to, if someone who tries to phish you, do you think it can somehow find its way to the dark web? Because I know in US, and in US especially, they have this the PII and all. So do you think this could cause a major damage in terms of getting to the dark web?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Without a doubt, it happens on a daily basis, even now. Okay. So if a lot of the data breaches, one of the ways that we detect them in the industry is that we go to the dark web and look at different, they're very similar to eBay sites out there. Okay. And within these sites, the hackers, the breachers, anybody that's doing this will sell credit cards, IDs, passports, identification cards, anything like that. And to give you a perfect example, a good identity card that has been verified cost them like $1, $1 to sell. There's times that they sell 100 verified credit cards for $5. So that's how low the price is for an identity. So this is very easy and very lucrative for them because they do it in batches of 1,000 or something like that. So these breaches that we're talking about usually within a day or two appear in the dark web. And what happens? That is just so that they can exploit that. So again, looking back at our first topic, is once these companies are breached, that identity, that credit card information, or the pieces of information that can be used for bigger crimes are then bought and sold on the dark web, which then in turn comes back to the clear web to open credit cards, open social media accounts, open trolling accounts, open phishing accounts, and things of that nature. So that's kind of the cycle of having data over here, getting your data exploited, getting it sold on the dark web, and then coming back to doing harm.
All right, thank you very much. I just have another question. What do you think about, perhaps we've discussed the pros and we've discussed the cons. We've weighed both of them in a way. Which one do you think outweighs the other? Should this be put in place, or should it not? And then just give us your final conclusion on why you think either it should be put in place or it should not be put in place.
So for me, I would like some stronger laws of how to create an account and what are the things that you need to do to create an account. I do not subscribe to the concept of having to use a legal ID to create a social media account because of the enormous risk of being able to steal identities and things of that nature. Now, the converse of that is there needs to be some sort of identification to verify that you are who you are online to help curb all the things that we've talked about. There are sites out there that are legal and supported out there. I can come up with one name called ID.me, okay, which is a great site where you do create an account using your legal ID, and it is verified by the company. And then once you have a verified internet ID, then that company just issues the tokens to verify you. Similar to what Twitter does with verifying accounts and things of that nature. You're a verified account, so that means that you've undergone a process. There can be brokers that can do that have to be secured, and then you basically use that token to identify two other things. That way there is a chain of custody of your information. That I advocate something like that. Maybe not that particular company, so not sponsored, not anything, but but having an identity broker. I do not would not like to see Facebook have their own verification, Twitter have their own verification, things like that. Maybe have a verification agency, if you will, or a verification company that does that to allow you to have the verification online. So yes, I think that verification is needed, but I don't advocate social media companies creating that certification directly.
Okay, thank you very much for your opinion on that. Also, in general, I would really agree with you on that, because looking at the pros might look like they outweigh the cons, but looking deeply into what this entails, it's going to be a whole lot dangerous if you start looking at the cons. You will know that the cons are quite should I say magnificent in terms of having, or in terms of the weight it carries. The pros can in a way be managed. There could be a way to manage the pros rather than introducing this whole identification, rather than introducing this means of identification. For example, all this racism and cyberbullying, there should be a way, perhaps if an account is flagged for perhaps racism or cyberbullying, there should be something done further. Because I know most times, even on YouTube, it happens where you might see a spam comment or a racism comment or something, and then the moment you report the account, nothing is being done, even for as long as a whole lot of the time, or nothing is being done basically. So if they can do something immediately, if there's an immediate response when someone reports an account, perhaps they take it to, it might be a bot, because humans might not be able to keep track of the number of accounts that are being reported every second or every minute. If there can be a bot that goes through either what the person is saying and sieve out certain words. For example, they should know the comments that are used for racism, that are used in terms of racism. They should know those prevalent words that are used in terms of racism. And then once it gets flagged, the account should perhaps get disabled after a while, until, like, the account should get disabled immediately, perhaps for a minute or so, and then they should look into it. And then when they see that this is really something depicting racism or cyberbullying or a scam or a fraud, then they can deal with it by either blocking the person permanently from that platform, or finding another way to handle this. Might be a temporary restriction. So
yeah. So there's 2 points. There's 2 points that I want to make with that. Is number one, is companies even as big as Twitter, Facebook, or any of the news of the social media companies, they do not have enough people. So it's a people, issue to look at all the reports, validate those reports, get the evidence, and present it. It's the same situation with law enforcement. Okay, there's not enough cybersecurity professionals. There's not law enforcement professionals. In your country, in Nigeria, they just a couple years ago started the cybersecurity unit. And at the beginning of that unit, for the entire country, they had 6 people only. So similar thing happens with companies. They have to deal with the cybersecurity threat. They have to deal with all these other threats. So these reports go into a queue. Yes, there is an automated portion that has to occur, and sometimes that automated portion, as some of our viewers know, they can say something stupid that has nothing to do, and Twitter will flag their accounts for 24, 48 hours, or even lose their accounts. And it wasn't a cyberbullying, it was that they used a word. And unfortunately, that's the issue with natural language processing on these companies. So that's number one. Number two is the laws haven't caught up with cybersecurity. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. So I guess that should be all on this topic. So it's a no for me and for maybe most cybersecurity um, individuals or personnel. I think most people wouldn't even want this to be put in place because lots of people, let me even say on that, lots of people value their freedom. Another con could be not being able to express yourself. Yeah, you might, there are some words you might use that might be termed racist comments or being a bully or something online. But I think without all these things, people will be able to express themselves more. So I feel with if this idea is put in place, it will just restrict the way people talk. It will restrict freedom, or the main idea for it being called a social media platform where you can go ahead and talk and air your grievances without someone tracking you to your location or tracking you to where you live or something like that, or without people flagging you. You can. So I think that's just a major reason why most people would really disapprove of this. So thank you, Eric, for this for gracing this occasion, or for gracing this live stream. This is like my second live stream on this channel. So please, if for those watching this, go ahead and check the description box for this live stream. Eric's channel is there. You can go ahead and subscribe to his channel. He talks on online safety and cybersecurity majorly. So he even started a new series where Eric, go ahead and tell them about your new series which you started. So
all right. Yeah. Thank you. So again, the link is down in the description. Please come and subscribe to our channel as well. We just started a new series called Cyber Crimes, Dangers and Defenses, where we highlight a cyber crime that actually occurred. Last week's episode was on a cyber stalking. And then we discuss through the episode how to protect yourself so that those you can limit or minimize your danger to that crime happening to you. So please go ahead and check it out. Let us know what you think, and again, subscribe to both our channels so that you are have that information and that intelligence to protect yourselves online. And again, so Emmanuel, thank you very much for inviting me to this live stream. For the first or second one, you've done an amazing job. So thank you again.
Thank you. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. So we'll be live again the same time next week, 4 p.m. WAT on Fridays, 4 p.m. WAT. We'll be live on this channel discussing another interesting topic, and I would love to see everyone there at that particular time. So any final words, Eric?
No, again, like I say in my channel, practice safe cyber, and make sure that you guys are very aware of what's going on online. So keep up with both our channels, SE Cyber Safe on YouTube and Eric Belardo Cyber on my side. So thank you very much for attending our live stream. And again, Emmanuel, thank you very much for inviting me to your stream.
Yeah. So thank you. We'll see you guys later. Remember to stay safe. Your online safety is key.